Steven, doesn't it feel like football's in the air? Mini camps are starting up. You getting excited?
Sure. I think the Pirates were ready for this jelly. That's what's on my mind right now.
Is Sean Gillian right now?
Yeah, it was, what's his walkout song? It's Bootylicious, right? I don't think you're ready for this jelly. And
That's it. Oh, actually, that is a perfect walk-up song.
it's a great walk-up song.
Because his name.
It is, yeah, right? The only problem is he just gave up a grand slam when Blake Snell was in a jam, and now it's 5-0 Pirates.
Ooh, and after last night's game, that's no bueno.
Yeah. But to your point, football is in the air, but for a bit, but for like 2 days, and then it's going to go away again.
Yeah, I mean, just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. Yeah, we got NFL mini camps going on right now, and you know me, I love me some football, but I'd be lying if I said that I gave a fiddly fuck about mini camps. That is the one thing, I guess, in the off season where I'm just like, it's not training camp. This is a mirage. It's a phony. It's fake.
Do you? Oh, sorry. Keep going.
No, I was just gonna say that there's, well, Ayuk's not there. McCaffrey's not there. Okay, who gives a shit?
McCaffrey's been doing an OTA since he was like 6. His whole life has been one OTA. If you've heard any of those stories from what Ed used to do, whether it's like, don't squint at the sun because that wastes energy, or he used to make him do a bunch of push-ups when he was tackled by his jersey as opposed to being actually tackled, going to bed at 7 p.m., different things like that. Yeah. It really did. And if Nick Bosa didn't put it into perspective about how, I'm not going to say there's little to no energy, but how there's a lack of what we think is happening. Nick Bosa's like, yeah, I'm here, and Kyle asked me to be here because, hey, well, I got to be here, and I want to get to know the guys, and really it's a nice cool down for me from what I'm usually doing, so it's kind of a recovery. It's a recovery for Nick Bosa. Not even a real practice.
Yeah, I mean, was it this time last year that Sean McDermott gave the press conference during OTAs where he was like, yeah, things are not good with Stephon Diggs? And even then I was like, it's OTAs. Can we all relax? And then he showed up for training camp, and then they traded him away. So maybe it was, something to that. But I don't know. And then I see on ESPN, Brandon Ayuk has to show up for OTAs. T. Higgins has to show up for OTAs. I'm like, what are we doing here? And yes, I know football. Listen, I love football, and football is the biggest thing in our sports society. But I don't know. I would say everybody calm down. But I will say this: I did see Aaron Rodgers speak at his OTAs, and I'm not talking about how he said, well, it's either retirement or play. Retirement being, I'm going to be the VP for RFK. I don't care about that statement.
Right.
What I do care about, though, and I thought it was actually it's a pretty telling statement for OTAs, is Rodgers basically said, all our asses are on the line this year. My ass, Nathaniel Hackett, Robert Saleh, the whole team. We got to win. We have to have a significant season. Otherwise, we are all done. And that is a strong statement to make during OTAs, I would say.
I thought you were going to talk about how he apparently really, if you're fat, he's going to make fun of you. I thought you were going to talk about that.
Does he make fun of fat people?
Not fat people, but people who are friends with him, clearly. We saw that moment in Hard Knocks where that, I think it was like an old coach, right?
Yep. An old Packers coach,
who he made fun of for being a little round. And then because Tyron Smith is now a Jet, Tyron Smith, one of those offensive linemen who looks like he's from another planet. Like if there's like an alien invasion and you had to choose a set of athletes, a very specific set of athletes to stand up for the world, Tyron Smith would be one of those guys because he's huge, he's chiseled. Tyron Smith, originally from the Cowboys, now with the Jets. He was talking about Tyron Smith, and then took a I'm not even going to say a subtle jab. He took a straight jab at David Bakhtiari, saying that he'd show up to OTAs with the inner tube around his waist. And then Bakhtiari commented on that, saying, "Jesus, I just took a stray." And then it showed the kid getting hit in the face with a soccer ball, unsuspecting, at a game.
And you have to believe that David Bakhtiari was kind of hoping when he got cut by the Packers that he would be with the Jets as his left tackle.
Of course.
But they went with Tyron Smith, who I think is right now a more healthy and better player. I will bring up this too. Of course, all the teams are doing OTAs right now, and some players are showing up, some are not. Nick Bosa honestly should show up after he got paid. There's no reason why he shouldn't be at OTAs when he gets that significant contract. So I'm glad he's there. And then the Chiefs had their OTAs, and Patrick Mahomes showed up. I guess everybody thought that, speaking of fat shaming, everybody thought that he looked a little flabby in his picture. But if he keeps playing the way he does, I don't think that won't matter. Going back to what we talked about last podcast.
We're so quick to fat shame in the NFL.
I know,
but one guy has one ab out of place, then all of a sudden he's fat.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Colin Kaepernick was ripped. It didn't really, didn't make him the best quarterback in the world. Yeah, I don't think it really matters if you're in the best shape as a quarterback, to be completely honest. As long as you could throw. Anybody see Peyton Manning without his shirt on? Not a good look. Tom Brady when he came out the draft.
Every one of these quarterbacks.
Yeah. But I will say this. So Mahomes and Andy Reid were asked about Harrison Butker. And have you seen this at all, Stephen?
I haven't, actually.
Well, they gave just an honest answer, basically just being, we don't agree with everything he has to say, but I know he's a good guy in this locker room, and that's all that matters. And honestly, that's what they should say. If anyone was expecting Mahomes or Andy Reid to come out and, totally bash Harrison Butker's, words, that's how you get divisive in a locker room. You don't want that. So I completely understand that. If people have a problem with that, I mean, look, if you're looking for Harrison Butker to get released, I'm going to tell you it's not going to happen. Like, I understand that we were all disappointed in what he had to say, but he has the right to say it, unfortunately. Or actually, you know what? Fortunately, because I do believe in freedom of speech. I don't agree with anything he has to say, but it is what it is. I mean, I just don't expect Mahomes or Andy Reid to come out and publicly condemn their kicker. So,
I think a lot of the people that were calling for him to be off the team were people who don't really watch too much.
Yeah.
Because look at what a lot of other guys have done, and it's a lot worse. It's way worse.
Yeah.
Was Rashee Rice there?
I'm not sure, actually.
Huh. There's that.
Yeah.
Did you see Mike McDaniel's response to being asked about Harrison Butker?
No. Why would he be asked about that?
I don't know. Hey, white hat. This is Mike McDaniel, former 49ers offensive coordinator, speaking at Dolphins presser, asked about Harrison Butker.
Harrison Butker made some comments recently that have drawn a lot of attention. And I'm wondering, when it comes to political stances, do you encourage your players to talk about that stuff amongst themselves, or do you tell them leave that stuff out of the building? How do you handle the politics of general in the locker room?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
That's it?
Yeah.
No, that's one way to approach it. I appreciate that. I mean, look, we all don't like what he said, but I don't want this whole thing to be what's Mike McDaniel's opinion about it, what's Kyle Shanahan's opinion about it, what's Antonio Pierce's opinion about it. He said what he said. He's an idiot for what he said, and I don't like it as much as anybody else. But he said it, and I think we got to move on. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and it's his opinion, man.
Yeah,
I can't agree with the people who saying he's just talking about family over, it's okay to choose family over work. I think it was much deeper than that.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. And we don't have to root for him. And he's already a Chief. So I inherently do not like him already. Because he's in a Chiefs uniform. Like, I don't like Andy Reid. I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I don't like Travis Kelce. I don't like
you
Chris
like Andy
Jones.
Reid. You like
even
Andy Reid.
even though I love them, but I don't love the fact that they're wearing those Chiefs colors, and they have pretty much ruined my fandom in the 2010s. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, fair enough. Although Michael Mayer, I guess, spoke during Raiders OTAs and was honest and said, I did not have fun coming to work last year. And
yeah,
I mean, that was pretty evident, when everybody was celebrating after wins with cigars.
You know what? I'm excited for a little more chatter, because when a year passes by, that's when guys can get a little more honest. I'm excited to hear more players speak about that, because you know what? Even we talked about the sort of David Bakhtiari with the Packers. Even Josh Jacobs, I'm eager to hear what Josh Jacobs has to say when he gets to Packers camp, if he's ever asked about last season. Very eager. I'm going to jump out to something early, Derek, an early prediction out of OTAs, and I am totally stealing this take from a former wide receiver, Eddie Royal, because
Eddie Royale with cheese.
There was a mic'd up posted of the Patriots. It was Gerard Mayo and Drake May. Pretty funny with Gerard Mayo, because he's motioning how to actually hit a sled, which I'm sure, like, how long has it been since the Patriots head coach has gone down in a 3-point stance and hit a sled? Like, how long has it been since that's happened? Probably never, because before Belichick, there was Pete Carroll. Maybe Pete Carroll did. Carroll would have, actually. So I retract my statement with Pete Carroll. But Drake May, the way that he's talking to his wide receivers, the way that he was communicating with them, Eddie Royal quote tweeted it, saying, "Look, I don't need to see any more. I just need to see that communication. The fact that a rookie's doing that from day one, Drake May is going to be a good quarterback." So I'm going to take that take. Out of all the first-round quarterbacks this year, Drake may not have the most team success, but you're going to find that his upside is higher than any of these other quarterbacks after his rookie season. That's my take. Early take, OTAs, day one, Drake May.
I like it. Even though I disagree with that, but sure. Apparently he hasn't looked very good.
I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to take this Caleb Williams roll out to his right and then throw a dot 50 yards, which, if anyone hasn't seen that, go check out that video from Bears camp. He's the real deal. He's there. But Drake May, that's my guy.
All right, fair enough. And I hear, I guess JT McCarthy's not looking too good in practice either. But it's OTAs, everybody. Let's calm down.
No, dude, let's overreact right now. JJ McCarthy, bust.
All right, fair enough. Dove Kleiman will, throw all the early practice footage out there and be like, this guy sucks. And by the way, Dove, why don't you courtesy KMBR on that Leonard Floyd quote today, huh?
Derek.
I know. I'm expecting a lot from a robot. I understand.
You're expecting an AI chat bot who was called out last year for trying to sabotage all the other aggregators. You're expecting him to take a moral high ground. Wait, he used your Leonard Floyd clip? He used that?
Yeah, he did. But hey, it's okay. I don't call out people on Twitter. That's not my thing. So let's get to a little NBA real quick. So last Sunday we were on, and we were on early before Game 7 of T-Wolves and Nuggets.
Oh,
and I did a little reaction. To it to put on the last podcast, and I just gave a quick reaction to it because it was just so shocking. We watched that game, and the Nuggets were up 20, and it was unbelievable. Like, the Nuggets were kicking their ass, and then the way they played defense in the second half, they fucking banged Jokic, and I mean that in the basketball way.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a good tease for when we're going to talk about inside the NBA later. He was banging them when you're banging down low.
Yeah, exactly. So, for how great the Nuggets were in the first half, it was incredible to see how well the T-Wolves are playing in the second half. So, I I was shocked. I mean, Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns were playing great defense on Jokic. The offense of the Nuggets just, it went away.
Where'd it go?
It became simplistic. None of the guys could get open. Jamal Murray couldn't get shots up. Aaron Gordon couldn't get shots up. Michael Porter couldn't get shots up. But then everything was just forcing it to Jokic. Everybody was just forcing it to Jokic, and he got denied at the rim. And then, I mean, they're playing tonight. They're about to play in about 9 minutes to start game one. So we'll keep you updated on that one with the Western Conference between them and the Mavericks. But yeah, it was shocking, man. And I give a lot of credit to the Minnesota Timberwolves for coming back in that game. God, the largest comeback prior to that in a game 7 was 11 points. Then it became 20 on Sunday. And Anthony Edwards, we were talking about him all postseason long. He's been incredible. He is the most confident player I've seen in quite some time. Yeah, man. I am rooting for the Minnesota Timberwolves going forward. I think it will, we'll get to our conference final picks, which we already put out there on Twitter, but we'll do it now. So yeah, man, I was thoroughly impressed with their performance at Game 7.
There's a lot of those cliches that are out there in sports, right? The intangibles that we always talk about, but I think this one absolutely rings true for that Game 7. It's simply, and I know we don't want to harp too much on it because there's already Game 1 coming up in 8 minutes. Yep. But well, you know what? It's the NBA, so we'll go 13. It's going to start at 5:35. That's my prediction.
Yeah, good point.
So you're seeing a team that wanted it more. There was that's what it was. I think the Nuggets just took their foot off the gas. They saw that 20-point lead. They just stopped running offense. In the fourth quarter, it was crazy how they're just getting it out to Jokic at the 3-point line and then just having him try to create his own shot. Like they weren't running anything. Yeah. There was no like what the Timberwolves were doing. They weren't getting the best performance from Anthony Edwards. Not at all. It was one of his worst scoring performances of the postseason. It might have been his worst. I actually got to go back and look at that, at least in terms of percentage. Karl Anthony Towns was knocking down shots, but they were getting open looks for Jaden McDaniels. Good God, that Rudy Gobert fadeaway. That fade.
They were done after that.
What the hell was that? The fadeaway at the elbow. You knew that the basketball gods were on the T-Wolves side when Gobert's hitting that sort of shot. But he's just what was happening? I was so confused. But at the end of the day, the Timberwolves wanted it more. The loose balls were going their way too. They were getting a little bit of that fortune. But ultimately, I think I told you before, the series had been so shocking already in game up through 6 games that in Game 7, even though I thought the Nuggets were going to win, nothing was going to surprise me if the Timberwolves actually made it through. It wasn't going to, because that series had just been so bizarre, so weird. I don't think we've seen a series like that where it's just been so back and forth. First 4 games, only a road team won. How often has that happened? Not just one, blew them out.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, that whole series was crazy. The road team wins the first 4 games, and then how to go the rest of the way. The home teams, and then the road team won the Game 7. So
yeah.
Pretty crazy. And this game is about to start, so I'll ask you quickly. Are you a little disappointed that it's not Jokic versus Luka?
No.
Okay.
No. I would be if it wasn't Anthony Edwards. Because Anthony Edwards is so damn fun to watch, and we mentioned it in the last podcast too. How can you? He's a when you're watching him, it's really rare. It's not, forget the talent, forget the fact that he's a two-way player and can hit turnaround fadeaway jumpers like he's MJ, can dunk like he's MJ, can talk that trash like the best of them of all time, like talk that trash like, like Gary Payton or Reggie Miller or whatever. Think of the best. Forget all that. He's just that player that you can't help but keep your eyes on him. Like that's why it's so easy to forget that a guy like Jaden McDaniels, who Edwards was just touting the entire series as the X factor, it's easy to forget that because you're just so focused on number 5 and what he's about to do. You don't know what he's going to do next. Yeah. God. So no, I'm a little bit, but the fact that Anthony Edwards is there, I'm good. I'm good with seeing this team moving forward.
I'll be completely honest. I'm a little disappointed that we don't get to see Nuggets and Celtics because that was kind of hyped up this whole season. I thought they were the 2 best teams in the NBA, but I have been sleeping on the Timberwolves. They were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference for the majority of the regular season, so they've been playing like it lately. And if it is Celtics, Timberwolves, I think that will be interesting as well. Moving over to last night's game.
What is it? Was it the first series without or not the first series? This is going to be the first time that a champion there's not going to be like an MVP or a finals MVP on that team. Is that true?
I saw that stat too, but I don't know how long it's been. So I can't say what that time frame is. But
I think it's never, man. I think it's never happened where there's an NBA champion that doesn't have a former MVP.
No, it's happened. I just it's just been quite some time.
Huh. All right.
So no MVP, no reigning MVP, no finals MVP in this. It'll be interesting. Just real quick, last night's game, game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals was the Pacers and Celtics, and the Pacers should have won that game, but then just a crazy 3 from Jaylen Brown in the final seconds of the game takes the game to overtime, and the Celtics just got away with that one. You could say it was an impressive victory, but I think it was more of an impressive loss by the Pacers. And we'll just see what happens the rest of the way. But we'll get to our picks as well in that series. But last night's game was incredible to watch.
God, you want to talk about how inexperience is a huge factor. God, I mean, you want to talk about a crazy 3. Talk about the one that's not made. That one that Tyrese Halliburton took with less than a minute when I think they were up by 3 and they get the steal, they get the turnover. He takes the ball up court. There's 14 seconds left on the shot clock and he heaves one up. He heaves one up instead of running the clock down and trying to make a play. He talked about that after the game. He was pissed about that. Rick Carlisle not calling a timeout. It's so funny today. I played the highlight of that little sequence at the end, the turnover from the inbounds that led to the Jaylen Brown 3. Mike Breen said at the very start, he goes, they have a timeout if they can't inbound the ball, and then they inbound.
That's pretty good Breen right there.
And then they inbound the ball.
Oh my God!
And it's a turnover, and we get the 7th double bang from Mike Breen in his broadcasting career.
Okay, hold on. How do you know that?
Because the people who have tracked that stuff know that, so I'm taking from them.
Who's tracking the amount of bangs that Mike Breen has thrown out there?
Kirk Goldsberry, Tom Haberstroh, those guys who are, and I say this in the best way possible because I think Kirk Goldsberry actually has a book coming out, a Basketball Atlas or something like that.
Who's Kirk Goldsberry?
NBA stat nerds.
Okay,
they
fair enough.
love this sort of stuff. So it's the 7th double bang of his career. And when DiVincenzo hit that 3 and he called the double bang on the local broadcast, that was his 6th. Someone by the name of Tim Reynolds tweeted that out, who covers the NBA for the Heat.
Wow. So that's incredible that someone is keeping track of Mike Breen's double bangs.
Yes.
Because he throws out those bangs willy-nilly. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, we talked about it last time, Myers Leonard had a bunch of 3s against the Warriors in the Western Conference Final, and Jeff Van Gundy was begging Mike Breen to bang him, but he didn't give it to him. Then, I mean, the first one I remember was Steph Curry's bang, bang! And, yeah, I'm sorry. That's a stat that I don't keep track of.
Feels like whenever he mentions the timeout, that's the precursor for the double bang. Like the Thunder, Warriors have a timeout. Decide not to use
Yeah.
it. Bang.
Oh,
Yeah,
what a
that,
shot from Curry. Bang.
yeah.
Do
Double
you remember?
bang. I love the double bang.
Do you remember when this was stupid? Do you remember back in the day when I did that 30 for 30 when the Warriors came back? And I did my Mike Breen impression where I was alluding to like the future of what it was going to sound like, and then just my impression was, Curry fades back. It's a three. Bang, bang. Oh, what a shot from Curry. By the way, I just came from Australia, guys. It's a boomerang. Ring.
No, I do not remember it, and I'm not. No wonder. No wonder I didn't remember that.
See, Ernie remembers here.
Ernie remembers everything, dude. It's wild.
Well, I didn't know if Ernie was even going to be here today. Apparently, he said he was going to some bar in Walnut Creek and didn't have time for us. But I guess he canceled the event. So, good job on Ernie for really putting his priorities straight.
AJ's right. AJ Cruz is right. Double bangs don't get enough respect. They don't get enough.
Yeah. By the way, I want to go to something earlier in the chat here. Tacky brought up because this is what I've had to do the last couple of days here. I'm jealous of Derek's friendship with Moskowitz. I'm starting to think I'm no longer his bestie. So, for everybody that doesn't know, Tom has been doing the show solo for the last couple of days, and because it's only a 40-minute show, so Tom's got it, but he has a conflicting sponsorship with Kugelman, who is a tax attorney, and we have Steve Moskowitz come on to do live, spots. Mm-hmm. So I was the one that had to say, Steve, what do you want to talk about? We talking about unfiled tax returns. If you didn't file tax returns, and then Steve does his thing. So yeah, that's me and Steve Moskowitz coming really, really good friends over the last 2 days.
So you're the one, like in the actual spots where he's being asked about these different types of law that his law firm does. You're the one that's asking that in the live spot.
Yes, I keep it brief though. I'm just like, Steve, tell us about unfiled tax returns, and then he, well, they.
You know what? They got you at a good time, because I feel like if we were doing this or you were doing that, say 7 or 8 years ago, you would have been a little more immature on the air and would have said something stupid that would have gotten you in trouble.
I think I kept it pretty mature today.
No, although today I'm saying today in 2024 you did, but I'm talking like 7 or 8 years ago when you were much more of a rebel. You probably would have been like, "How do I make this into a comedy bit?" And then you would have turned it into something like that.
Well, I did kind of at the end of the day. I kind of had fun with it. And I was like, "There, take it from Steve. The man loves taxes. It's called Steve at 1-800." And it wasn't that bad. But you're probably right, Steve. And I probably would have had a rebellious attitude back in the day. But I had fun with it.
I'm not going to mention the sponsor. Ernie might be the only one who knows it, but one sponsor pulled their sponsorship away from my show because they thought I sounded too sarcastic reading the reading the reads. Yeah.
Oh wow! And you can't say who that was.
I'm not going to say who that was. They did not like. They didn't like how I was reading it. It's the only sponsorship I had on the show.
I'll have to find out about that off the air. So yeah, should we get to Steven's hot sauce punishment?
Oh Jesus, thought you forgot.
No, I'm not going to forget that. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got it here.
Come on.
And today, you know what? Free plug. I'm not going to be sarcastic about this one. I will vouch for these Trader Joe's organic corn chip dippers. They're basically thick Fritos, thick with 2 C's, THICC, thick Fritos. They're meant for dipping in salsa or guacamole, whatever of your choosing, and they are delicious. So, I'm gonna. All right, hang on. Okay. Yep. All right.
I would have been close in all my picks. The only one that I got wrong was, I guess, Wolves in 7. I picked Nuggets in 7. I picked Mavericks in 6. I picked Boston in 5. I took Pacers in 6. Damn it. Almost so close to being perfect.
AJ Cruz is absolutely right. Trader Joe's is the spot for munchies. We're not going to talk about how you were perfect in the playoffs. Who cares about your playoffs? I'm the wrong one here. Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I give these a double bang. Cheers.
Bang! If it was a double bang, you'd do 2 chips at once.
Not over.
God.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
as soon as you say not overreacting, oh!
Dude. I swallowed the chip, and it came out one nostril, like the heat, and went down, and then simultaneously went down my nostril.
You all right?
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, you'll be fine. All right, Steven. So we got one game in the books, but
I hate you so much. All right, Steven.
Let's pick these conference finals in the NBA playoffs. So we got the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Mavericks going on right now. Game 1 in Minnesota. Steven, who you got in this series?
I don't know. I texted you. Why don't you tell me?
I'm going to make you bring it up. All right, fine. I will tell you.
What was it? What did I have? I think I had like Mavs and 7.
Fine.
Right?
I'll say our picks now since we already kind of tweeted this out. Let's see here. We got okay. Steven has. Stop milking it. He's got the Mavericks winning in 7. Okay. And he's got the Celtics winning in 5. Why, pray tell, do you have Mavericks in 7?
I'm not confident. I just think this series is going to go 7. So I think the Mavs are going to win.
Fair enough. Guy from Rat Race. Yeah, exactly. I'm taking. I mean, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid now. I believe in Anthony Edwards. I'm taking the T-Wolves in 5, and I got the Celtics winning in 6. I think last night, from what we saw between the Pacers and Celtics, it's going to be quite the battle in that series.
You think so?
I do think so. I think that they are evenly matched. I mean, you didn't feel that way from watching last night?
No.
All right.
I think the Pacers gave them their best shot. Now the Celtics going to run away with it.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
5.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that
5.
one. Okay. All right.
Celtics 5.
Fair enough.
That's hard to say. Celtics. Ooh, that hurts to say.
Yeah. All right. So there are picks for the NBA playoffs. Real quick here, I wanted to bring this clip up because I saw it today on Get Up as soon as I could find it. So I know that we talked about Austin Rivers and his claim that he could take 30 players from the NBA and bring them to the NFL. And a lot of NFL players were upset about that. They took it as an insult. I get that, but I also would not run with it as much as they did. I think it was also kind of a slow time during the sports world, so a lot of places were going with that story. And Austin Rivers has doubled down. He's going back on the Pat McAfee show here or there, claims that he stands by his comment. And then he came on Get Up this morning. And, I'm not the biggest RG3 fan, but I think he's good on college football. I like the way that he calls the game. I think he's kind of, a little corny on Twitter, and he tries to do all the puns and stuff on Monday Night Countdown. I'm kind of glad they took him off Monday Night Countdown. I'm ready to see what Jason Kelsey's going to be like. But I did appreciate what RG3 did today. So this is Austin Rivers with RG3, and RG3 let him know that his opinion kind of sucks.
Allen play. Listen, Austin, your comment was very disrespectful in the very beginning to football players, but that's neither here nor there. I do think that Josh Allen at 6'5", 237 pounds can give you 7 minutes of tenacious D off the bench. You're telling me you have seen this guy throw a football? You've seen this guy hurdle over guys on the football field and run through them? You're saying that he couldn't do that? But I'll take it even further for you, Austin, because I respect the game of basketball. And I know that there are a lot of hoopers in the NFL. I think a guy like Keon Coleman who was a two-sport star, not only in high school, but also played at Michigan State, he could go to the NBA right now and score a point before any basketball player that you could mention could come to the NFL and score a touchdown.
He actually did play a couple of games 100%. For Tom Izzo at Michigan State, but that's neither here nor there. This is here's the one thing I will say: Josh Allen, he can give you 6 fouls. I'll tell you that.
Anybody can do that. Give 6 fouls.
He can give you 7 minutes and 3 fouls. Come on.
Can I ask you one question? Name a football player who has played football and decided just to go play in the NBA in college. Name a college football player who is a top college football player and just been like, you know what? I'm going to go play in the NBA. I'll give you one, and I'll tell you, if you can, you would. Charlie Ward was a Heisman winning and chose to be a backup.
Yeah, I'm a Heisman Trophy winner, Austin. I know Charlie Ward was a basketball player. He was a quarterback that should have played in the NFL, and he went and played in the NBA. Come on, man. Like, I know that.
I lost control here.
That's the point.
We're all friends. Everything is good here.
Okay. So you're muted, Stephen. You're muted.
Giving a baseless take, defending it when he's clearly wrong, and will go to no ends to no end to admit that he's wrong. Yeah. Perfect for ESPN. Perfect personality.
Yes, but he's very young in his career, and he looks kind of foolish with this. I got to admit, like, he's trying to build a brand and be the guy that's going to be, the alternative to Tim Legler or Kendrick Perkins on that broadcast. Stephen A. Smith does all the NBA stuff on there. And Austin Rivers is a different, personality. Very young, played in the league, had, pretty good success, I'd say. And now he's transitioning to the media. And he's made a name for himself with this opinion. But I really, really commend Robert Griffin for being the guy to be like, you're actually asking me if I know who Charlie Warner is? Are you serious right now?
Not Charlie Warner. That's the former 49ers tight end.
Oh yeah, sorry. Charlie Ward, my friend. My bad. That's totally ironic that I said that. Charlie Ward. Yeah, I mean, Robert Griffin was just like, please, man, please, as a young guy, you're really going to check me on what I know as a football player and a sports fan? Fuck out of here.
Yeah. No, RG3's in the right there, and I feel the same way you do about his Twitter, but he normally talks about the game in a very good, in a very concise way, and I do enjoy it. But sometimes it's just a little over the top. But in that was his domain. He won that argument. Austin Rivers it's crazy that he actually believes it. That's the thing. He seems like he believes it, which I really don't believe from a lot of people from ESPN.
No, he doesn't.
I think he does. I think he genuinely believes it.
I think that he said something that he just threw in a show, and he has to stand by it.
Yeah. But the key is, though, look, if you're a sports personality, here's what you got to do. This is just for me. I have a very small criteria, and I know we're going to get to a certain pre and post show, which I think specializes in this, but even more than your analysis, way more than your analysis. Make me laugh. Keep me entertained. Make me smile. Make it seem like you're enjoying yourself on the air. Like, there's sometimes when, like, you hear it through it's to be honest, I'm not in the realm where I should be doing this, but sometimes I do get some advice on radio and, asking, not how to host, but like, just if you have any tips in what you can do with hosting. Well, the first thing is, like, stop trying to give your sports opinions. Like, you have them. Those will come out naturally. Just be yourself. Be entertaining to the listener and actually act like you're enjoying what you're talking about. I know there's the thing with, the schedule release and stuff like that, but I enjoy being kind of the contrarian when it comes to the schedule release. I enjoy it. Like, that didn't look enjoyable for Austin Rivers having that debate. That looked like something serious. And Robert Griffin just undressed him with that take. But
I'd say so.
But point being, like, that's the thing with Austin Rivers. If he's entertaining, he'll stick around. But if he's not, then and he just comes out with these outlandish takes, then it's going to be like a Ryan Hollins type career for him, where he was just saying all these outlandish things to try and, you know, get a clip up there, and you don't see Ryan Hollins anywhere anymore in media.
Well, he's the it's very similar, but Ryan Hollins is now the color analyst for the Houston Rockets.
Color me wrong.
Fair enough. No, I mean, I hope that's the last we hear about that argument.
I had no idea he was the Rockets analyst.
Yeah, no, he's doing quite well as the Rockets color analyst.
All right.
Yeah, so I look forward to this not being a thing anymore. To tell you the truth, I hate that topic. I think it was fodder for the longest time, and I hate that they brought it up today. I don't like the crossover of NFL personalities talking about NBA stuff. I hate NBA personalities talking about NFL stuff. Neither of you know what the hell you're talking about. You specialize in a certain sport, so I don't want to hear you talk about another sport. I don't care what your opinion is on that. So I don't want to hear Austin Rivers talk about NFL anymore. That's it with me.
Mm-hmm. And that's the problem that FS1 has right now with basketball. If you hear any of these guys who are purely football guys through and through and listen to some of the opinions they have on basketball, it's like, all right, that seems manufactured and not one that you actually think. You're just trying to come up with some opinion to make it sound like you actually have paid attention to the sport over the past few decades.
Yeah. It's kind of like when, from the brief time I've seen Shad Johnson and Shannon Sharp do their post-game show when an NBA game's going on the nightcap. It's like, ugh.
Yeah,
these guys.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, it's okay. Like, why do these guys have to feel like I'm all for, like kids growing up playing sports to try and branch out and try all different things and not specialize in one thing. But if analysts have done one sport for their entire career, it likely means they've been paying attention to their one sport. It's okay just to specialize in talking about that one sport instead of trying to talk about these other ones that you've kind of been paying attention to, but not really, because rightfully you've been very busy with your own lives, with their own regular seasons instead of watching NBA regular seasons. That's where Austin Rivers' take comes from. It's ignorance, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. And sometimes, even the professional basketball analysts don't even want to talk about basketball. But sometimes it's just fun. So that brings us to 1 year left of the NBA on TNT, inside the NBA. It was pretty much announced today that the NBA will no longer be on TNT after this season. They are staying on ESPN, but they are also going to streaming with ESPN or NBC/Peacock and also Amazon, which means that great pregame show of Ernie, Shaq, Charles, and Kenny Smith will no longer be. And, I have gone back and forth with that show. I remember watching it when I was a kid, when the Warriors beat the Dallas Mavericks with the We Believe team. I remember Charles Barkley just being like, "Oh my God, they won!" And I remember they had like a rotating guest every time. Then Shaq got his, he was solidified on that show when he retired, and it's fun. There's been times where I've struggled with it, where I'm just like, "What the hell are they talking about?" Like I want to hear them break down the game, and I know that's not for everybody. It's more comical than anything. I have learned to enjoy the humorous clips. Like I actually thought it was funny the other night when like all the pasta fell down on Charles Barkley, or when Shaq did some promotion for House of Dragons and they made it seem like he was burnt by the dragon. It's just fun. It's goofy. I could tell Ernie Johnson gets pissed off sometimes, but you know what? He's on arguably the best pre and post game show out there. And I watched Ernie Johnson win an Emmy last night on the Sports Emmys. And he gave a very powerful speech. Very powerful, talking about just how grateful he is to be in this industry. And he talked about how grateful he is to be on that pre and post game show. And it kind of like clicked Like you could see it, the way he's speaking, how slowly he is, how emotional he is, that he knows this is not going to be a thing anymore. And that was interesting to see that last night. And Charles, he's done interviews and he basically says like, once this thing goes away, I'm going to another network. He also said, I think today, that Ernie will most likely finish out his contract with TNT and then retire. He's closer to that than anything else.
Yeah.
So, that's a fun show to watch. Am I going to miss it like other sports fans will? Probably not. I never was really that in love with the show and devoted to the show. But I know it was a staple for the NBA, and I think that's going to be a big missing piece.
I'd be lying to you if I told you I watched that show night in, night out, because I watched their pregame stuff. I've watched their halftime stuff, but having been waking up in the early morning for pretty much every day since late 2016, December of 2016, having had to wake up at sometimes ungodly hours at 3:30 to 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not really staying up after the games are over, and that's normally when that's normally when the chaos ensues for that show. But what I do know is there's not going to be any show like that that'll be replicated. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to try. There's going to be a lot of copycats out there, but just the way it was built, it just started with Ernie Johnson. Then it went to Ernie Johnson and Kenny Smith. Then Charles Barkley came along, and then it was them three for a while before Shaq started joining on, and they realized Shaq would be perfect for this show. Yeah. You're not going to find another pre- and post-game show like that, at least in our lifetime. It's hard for me to imagine, and really, who knows, 25 years from now, pre- and post-game shows could become obsolete, and we might not see them anymore as we're going to enter the streaming age. But it's going to be emotional next season, man, when they have this kind of farewell tour. It's just going to be a long season of knowing this will be the last time that they're there. Like, all right, these guys aren't going to be on TV anymore. There's a sense of comfort to that. And I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I'll just say this. The NHL on TNT, which has kind of become a thing. If that pre- and post game show goes away, I'll be sad with that one too. They're funny, man. They had a lot of good things going for them. And that really sucks to see it not blossom into what it could be. I don't know the host's name, but I know Paul Bissonnette because I sometimes listen to his podcast, Spittin' Chicklets, and Henrik Lundqvist. Sometimes Wayne Gretzky's on there. But back to inside the NBA, like, yeah, man, it's literally part of the part of the fabric. Like, those guys are more popular than a lot of the players, but you're not going to find guys more unique. Like, I don't think we give Shaq, Charles, not really Kenny the Jet Smith so much, but Shaq and Charles are two of like the most unique athletes that we'll ever see, just in terms of their size, their power, what they were playing, and just how funny they are, and just everything they've done in their post career. I haven't watched a lot of it live. I've gone back and watched the clips, and usually I go on YouTube and watch a solid, like 15 minutes of something. And like, there's certain moments that happened in the NBA since they've been around, which it felt like they were the perfect ones to talk about it, whether it was Donald Sterling with the Clippers or Kobe Bryant passing away. Most nights they are there to make you laugh and make you entertain, but it felt like they were the perfect voices for when those types of moments happen, when when people just needed to hear something, anything. Okay, Ernie Chavez says TNT has NHL until 2028. So there you go. All right, cool.
And I want to make sure I get this correct because maybe I misspoke earlier. Next season will be the last season for NBA on TNT. So it starts in the 2025-2026 season.
Correct. Yeah, fall of 2025 is when we're going to be getting little John Tesh.
Is John Tesh coming back?
No, but I think they're trying to get a deal with Round Ball Rock. So
they have to. I mean, you don't make that move unless you get a little Bitty bitty basketball, give me the ball, cause I'm gonna dunk it.
Yeah.
They got to get Tim Robinson involved in some way.
Do they?
Yeah, he made the song.
Well, Jason Sudeikis did too. The SNL writers did.
The two of them.
He sang it.
Oh,
do they really?
If anybody, listen, maybe you can feel this by now watching comedy. Can you tell when a comedy writer writes a sketch?
No.
Okay. I've watched enough. I think you should leave now, where I could tell that was a Tim Robinson production.
Yeah. No, true. I guess you could say that, but I also have an unpopular opinion. I think You Should Leave is a little overrated. What?
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
I don't find myself cracking up every time I watch it. Like I'm like, why is there so much yelling? What is happening?
The first season is still classic to me. It got not as classic as the season went on, but I still think it's still pretty good.
I never thought Tim Robinson was that funny when he was on SNL, and that's when I was watching it at my peak. That was my peak at SNL viewership, and I Think You Should Leave to me is just more Tim Robinson. He's funny, but I just don't think he's like so funny where we should be memeing everything that he does and turning it into a meme.
Wow.
Yeah.
This might be where you and I depart.
It's my unpopular opinion, man.
Yeah, seriously. What is it about that you don't like?
It's just very. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't find myself laughing hysterically when I'm watching it.
Not even the first season?
First season, I do. Yeah, there's moments in the first season, but I don't know. I just don't find myself cracking up as much as everyone else does.
I agree. Yes, like I just said, the later seasons are not as funny. Like a lot of it was just him screaming and ridiculous situations. But God, that first season, the TP, the coffin flop, like the couple seasons ago. That's hilarious. Him in the makeup and just being like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just over the top silliness that I enjoy.
Right. No, I don't fault anyone for liking it. I just don't like. I just don't catch myself wanting to go back and watch it again.
That's fair.
I don't know what it is. I can't tell. I can't really pinpoint it. It's just maybe there's just it just happens in such a short amount of time.
Oh,
I don't know.
Am I totally outnumbered here with the people that co-host this show? Here's Alon. You're not alone, Steven. There are a lot of people who don't think he is incredibly funny or that show is super funny. Alon, I may have to rethink you filling in when Steven's got to do his marital stuff.
And Ernie, too, has said something I kind of disagree with. After Will Ferrell left and Chris Kattan and all of them, it's not as funny. I disagree. I believe the show, it's just, and this is different eras, right? Saturday Night Live's about generations. And for me, when I was, easy. You all
right?
Hello? What are you doing over there? Nothing. Just loud. Jesse's unboxing whatever's in his Amazon box. We've gotten Amazon packages like 8 straight days. You gotta do your shit for your bride. But anyway, the generation thing I was talking about, when I was like 13 or 14, that's when like Jason Sudeikis and Bill Hader, Andy Samberg, Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, all of them were coming up. And to me, that's just, I consider that like trust me, I think the Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Rock era was kind of like the golden age. But to me, like that's when it truly went downhill, was after all those people left, the Bill Haders and Jason Sudeikis and them.
I agree with that. I agree with that, Stephen. And Alon has redeemed himself. I happen to think the show was amazing. I was comforting Stephen. All right, good to know. You're back in,
Thanks,
filling in for Stephen.
Thanks a lot.
Real quick, going back to the sports Emmys. Did you see who won last night for best color analyst?
Was it Greg Olson?
It was Greg Olson.
For him.
So what do you think about his dilemma this season? because I think he may be the best in football. I think he's really good. Is he a huge name? No. But you and I know he has a huge third leg.
Correct.
The thing about
So does
Greg
everyone.
Olsen, yeah. The thing about Greg Olsen is he, like we said, he's not a big name, but he does a fantastic job on the broadcast. And Fox decided that a long time ago, coming on 2 years ago, that Tom Brady is the right guy for that job. I don't know how Tom Brady's going to do as an analyst. What I will say, though, is Greg Olsen is incredible at his job. And I'm sure there was a part of him last night when he accepted that award. He was like, damn, you guys think I'm really good. My own employer does not think I am the best at what I do. So I think he should do a great job this season, call the games with Joe Davis, I believe. He'll be the second team. And then go find his way on Amazon Prime or Peacock or Netflix or maybe Amazon Prime, because that's the weekly one. He needs to have his own broadcast. And hopefully he gets out of his contract and is able to do that, because he's too damn good to automatically already be told you're not as good as Tom Brady.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't think they knew what they had with Olsen. I really don't, because they gave him that contract before Olsen really became who Greg Olsen was. You could tell from the jump that he had something there, and he's very polished, knows what he's talking about, makes it easy, digestible, all those different things that you want. Yeah, I hope he figures something out, because he does not deserve to be on the backup team for whatever the broadcast is. That's not fair to him, man. He absolutely deserves it. And I think they used a sequence from the 49ers and Lions game. I forget which play he was outlining, but they used that as the example when they were showing the nominees. So it was during the 49ers Lions NFC championship when they were introducing him. I don't remember which play it was, but I remember him being very, very good in that game.
Well, even how about 2 years ago when he called the Super Bowl? And when they had the flag on James Bradbury, and I thought it was ballsy for him to be like, I don't know about that call. This is the biggest game on the biggest stage. All of America is watching right now, and you're going to make that defensive holding call right now. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome for him to say that.
Yep.
And it showed that he is not afraid to say what he wants. Troy Aikman, I think, has gotten a little, I don't know, too overly critical. Like he'll just out of nowhere just lambaste a quarterback, and it kind of feels like he's being a little hot takey. Tony Romo is just, to me, just ugh.
He's lost his fastball.
Yeah, to say the least. It's like the comedy hour. Like,
yeah,
you should put him on. I think you should leave now.
Yeah, well, the comedy hour, but instead it's the Joker up on the stage in that movie. The Joker.
Yes.
You
know. So yeah, no, I think Greg Olsen is very good at what he does, and hopefully he gets more of an opportunity.
This was the first time I've looked at like the full sports Emmys list.
Yeah,
they got a lot of. I didn't realize this, and I'm going to watch a lot of these, and this might be another thing for you, Derek, to take your mind off football and give yourself something to do. But I didn't realize how many documentaries that they nominated. They nominate a lot of sports documentary features, long form and short form. There's a bunch from NFL Films that they put on there.
Yeah.
Golf Channel, a lot of different options. And I think there's one on Netflix, which won basically its version of the best documentary. And it's called The Deepest Breath, which talks about a deep sea diver who I guess dives just with one breath. Obviously. So I'm very, very curious. I've never looked at the list before. And now with every Emmys moving forward, I'm going to look at the documentaries and watch these things, because there's a lot of them that's come out and a lot that were nominated. So that's a pretty cool feature.
Okay. All right. I mean, yeah, when I worked in television, NFL Network, their Super Bowl was the sports Emmys. And I work with editors that we're working on, things for NFL 60 and different documentaries. Yeah, they do great work, and you know, that's your goal, is to be honored like that. You know, editors or analysts or people that work in, you know, behind the scenes of sports television, they all try to win those things. So, yeah, I will say, yeah, Steven, go ahead.
You think ESPN created any fake names to get their host in there?
Oh, I forgot about that. Was that already a year ago?
I think that was, I mean, that
College
was
Game Day, right?
That was over the past like 20 years, but yeah, it was involving College Game Day and some sports center with unbeknownst to the people that were actually nominated. So I'm not taking anything away from her, but when Malika Andrews was nominated, people were like, did ESPN create some fake names on that? I'm surprised she's a studio host. And then that jogged my memory. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I forgot about that whole thing.
I forgot about that too. That was, yeah. So what happened a year ago was College Game Day. They were, in order to be nominated, they had to change the names of the hosts.
So yeah, they because the certain people who could vote was a bunch of people within their industry, and they would just create a bunch of like not even fake names. They just use the regular names, but change a couple of letters around to make them sound different. Yeah,
that's insane.
Do I need? I think I. You know what? I'm gonna pull it up. ESPN. I'm gonna pull it up, Derek. Pull up game strong.
Well, I kind of vaguely remember what exactly happened, and I remember we talked about it on the podcast, but the whole thing just seems crazy to me.
Yes, it was. It was
and
when
I want to even say I remember like saying, it was like a Milli Vanilli situation where they had to give the Emmys back?
Yes, yes. Like it was a whole thing when these people who have won it, say like Kirk Herbstreit, they did like basically like a purge. He just came in and said, "Hey, give us your Emmys. These aren't real." And yeah, they re-engrave. Oh, what they did was they submitted fake names, and then they won the trophy because you could only win for one award, but they'd want as many as possible. So they would put them in, like they'd put a studio host, for example, on there for the entire production team. And then when they'd get the trophies, they would re-engrave their names.
Yeah, how did no one notice that?
It's no one has the answer to that.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some of these fake. Yeah, Lee Clark.
Instead of Lee Corso,
Dirk Howard for Desmond Howard.
Wow.
Chris Fulton for Chris Fowler. What was the other one? Eric Andrews for Aaron Andrews. That's my favorite. I like Eric.
Wow.
Eric Andrews.
And I want to, I'll make this point again. I think I made a year ago. Good for them. They cheated the system.
Yeah,
and no one caught them. So
nope.
Just going back to your documentaries, though. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good sports documentaries out there, and I do want to see more. The 30 for 30s you mentioned, they're coming out this summer, are unaspiring to say the least. So I know I brought this up last podcast. Maybe we should do it next time. Let's think of like good documentaries we want to see about sports that haven't been done before.
Okay.
All right. That's on the agenda. I know I teased that last time. I wasn't ready for it this time, but we'll do it next time. Maybe.
It's fine. We got a lot to hear. By the way, the Giants, they've cut the lead to 1. It is now 5-4 Pirates. Runners on second and third, top of the 8th. Elliot Ramos to the plate. I've been switching back and forth between this and the multi-view, and this caught my attention.
Yeah, is there any way we could put the Giants and the basketball game in the multi-view?
I don't think you could choose your own yet.
God. So that whole thing was a tease during March Madness or whatever it was.
Well, you could select it if it's within the sport, but
right. Yeah, that's lame.
Yeah.
Going back to analysts in sports, Draymond Green is a guest analyst on Inside the NBA, and he's in Minnesota. And everyone knows his beef with Rudy Gobert. He just does not like the man. And I saw the Timberwolves broadcasters, Alan Howard, I want to say, or Alan it's the play-by-play guy's name. I think is Al Howard or something like that. I could be wrong, or Al Horton. No, that's a player. Never mind. The bigger thing is Jim Peterson, who was a longtime Warrior. Is the Timberwolves broadcaster. He's been on the TV broadcast for quite some time, and he tweeted out like, "This is a joke. Like, the Rudy Gobert hater is going to be part of this broadcast team," and that made me think: do people like Draymond's going to have to learn as a broadcaster that he cannot be biased? And I wonder. I didn't see how he handled things in the pregame. I wonder how he'll handle things in halftime and postgame. But is when you are a current player, you have beefs with guys. That's, it happens. But when you become an analyst, and he cooked him the other night, like he went in on him, giving up 40 points against Jokic. But when you have to be an analyst and take yourself out of your personal feelings for Rudy Gobert, can you be objective, Draymond? Can you put that aside and be the expected analyst that you want to be? You're muted again.
Yeah. I think we got to wait till after his playing career for that. It's clear that it's showing, and I think it was a very well-reasoned take, thinking that the Timberwolves don't believe anymore because of after they went down to the Nuggets in Minnesota. I thought that was, I think that was, I can't do this with the damn tail in my face, man.
Yeah.
Go away, Phoebe. Whoop. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, but I appreciate the fact that he does everything else, though. I am willing to take a little bit of bias if that means you can get some of whatever Draymond's opinions are with everything else, because it may be biased towards the Timberwolves, but it's something that made inside the NBA entertaining as well, outside of just being funny, is sometimes they'd have these little rivalries with players, and sometimes there would be the beef that the other guys have with the hosts. And you talked about it last week. You said that shouldn't really be the analyst place. Like it's you're an analyst. You're supposed to be lifting these guys. You're not supposed to be tearing them down. But I don't know. I think it's kind of made for some interesting television, because I think it's funny when Draymond talks trash. I know his bias is getting in the way, but me personally, I don't really care. I think it's entertaining.
No, I mean that's fair, but I think for
it does get in the way of having. It does get in the way of having an objective opinion. I understand all of that, but I don't know if I really care that much.
No, I mean that's fair. I mean people watch for different reasons, but I don't really respect the guys that just want to make a brand or cause a lot of ruckus. I'd rather have guys that are going to be objective and give good sports analysis, and Draymond is capable of that. But he also is capable of holding grudges against people. So and I haven't listened to this, but I know he went on Shaq's podcast, I guess. And Draymond and him went back and forth about who would win, between the best Warriors team and the best Lakers team. And then I think he even admitted that Rudy Gobert is a Hall of Famer. He did say that. I want to say that's true. I should look into more if this is, I take the time to actually look into that interview. But yeah, no, he gave his, as the kids say, flowers to Rudy Gobert. But yeah, it's one thing if you're like it's like an act like Stephen A with the Cowboys. It's another thing to like have a personal vendetta against somebody, and it's weird when you're still playing. So if Draymond, I believe, wants to be taken seriously, he's got to let his personal feelings go. So yeah, I think that go ahead.
I don't get. I saw in the clip. It was a little clip, I didn't see the full thing. So I'll if I'm me, I'm willing to admit, like, if I haven't seen the whole thing, I'm okay if I'm wrong about this. But
right,
I saw Draymond arguing about Shaq and Kobe, and maybe the subject was just specifically about defense.
Yeah, it would be who would guard Steph, I believe, in that situation.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? That's the reason why you take them over the Lakers, is because, well, 3-pointers are better than 2s. And you may not stop Shaq and Kobe, That's fine. You have Steph Curry. You have Klay Thompson. Like, I don't know why Draymond was trying to use, we're going to stop you. We're going to contain you. We're going to put one man in front of you, one man behind you. I'm going to be that guy in front, and I'm not going to let you get the ball. No, you can let them do all they want. At the end of the day, threes are better than twos, which is why the Warriors changed the game and revolutionized it. And this is why everyone's taking threes now, because they realize that three-pointers are the new version of layups. You get an easy three, you take it. You don't pass it up unless you can't shoot. But if you get enough three-point shooters on your team, yeah.
So just to go back to Draymond real quick, this was him in pregame. The Timberwolf fans were letting him hear it.
I love you guys. Meantime, we've mentioned how long it's been, Draymond, that since we've had the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals, goes back to.
He's going to hear that all series long, and you know what? They're entitled to do that, and I actually think it's kind of fun. The same thing with with Charles Barkley calling out the city of San Francisco. He was just having fun with that. But I mean, earlier this season, Draymond had Rudy Gobert in a chokehold, and they don't like each other. So yeah, I don't have an issue with the Timberwolves fans talking shit to him.
Of course not. They have every right to.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what comes with it. And I think Draymond's learning that pretty quickly.
Definitely. All right, Steven. Well, this is new. An hour and 11 minutes in, and that's all I got for tonight.
No baseball talk, huh?
Well, you want to bring something up?
I just look. I think just real quick on the Giants. I just think that because we're getting closer to the veterans coming back off the injured list.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Conforto, Austin Slater, Nick Ahmed, wherever he's at. Patrick Bailey, I think, is back now. He got reinstated earlier. Luis Matos, he's here to stay because Jung-Hoo Lee's out for the year. But I'll just say this now. If they end up sending Luciano back down to AAA and keeping Nick Ahmed in place of him, then I think that's just going to be a huge mistake. I'm finding it. I know they're not getting the results, but good God, do I have low standards after watching what they've been doing the past couple of years. And I'm telling you, there's nothing that I hated watching more than when they lost, and they did it because they just kept on using the platoon or bringing in relievers when it didn't feel like they needed to. Always those reasons. They've been losing at least with their guys this year. with the guys that they start with, guys getting extra at bats. They were mentioning it on the broadcast yesterday when I think it was the Pirates went to the bullpen. They brought in a right-handed pitcher, and instead of going with like a pinch hitter like Lamont Wade as a lefty, they kept with a righty. And I think it's very refreshing just having guys stick around. Oh, sorry. I think it's really refreshing having that happen. But if they send down Luciano, I want to see them lose with Luciano if they're going to lose. I want to see them lose with Elliot Ramos. I don't want to see them lose with Austin Slater anymore. Like, I appreciate everything he's done, but he's the longest tenured Giant, and he's there purely because he's pretty good at hitting lefties. Like, I just think it would be a mistake if they did that. That's all I got to say.
Yep, that's fair. That's you. I'll leave that to you, my man. You know.
And Ernie too says this: as long as Farhan's in charge, Giants winning nothing. I'm not trying to back up Farhan, not trying to defend him, but I'd change that to as long as the Dodgers are around for the next decade with Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, the Giants aren't winning much. Like, they're not going to be number one in the division. The Dodgers are a powerhouse right now, at least for the next couple of years. It's crazy what they're doing.
Fair enough. All right, man. Anything else?
Have you watched Mason Miller at all?
No.
Oh, Derek. Well, I guess I understand it. But the A's have a closer. I don't think anyone's ever seen anything like this.
A's closer.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's ever seen anything like this before, man.
Hey, man, listen. It's hard to watch A's baseball right now. It is.
Totally.
I grew up loving the team, but it's hard. And I will find my way to the ballpark this year. But goddamn, it's just difficult right now, and it's hard to get excited about them because they're not very good, and they're basically giving out, a shit sandwich until they go to Sacramento for the main course, um, or maybe even Vegas. I don't even know what the hell's going on with them right now. The
Yeah.
reverse boycott's coming up. I'm contemplating going to that, but I really don't love the idea of doing that whole thing again. Because the reality is it's too late. But I understand the fun behind it, and I'm gonna go out to the Ballers game, the opener, coming up, I believe in 2 weeks, and I'll be excited for that. But yeah, man, it's just I will probably be there for, I don't know if I go for the last game at the Coliseum, but I'll be there again this year. I just don't know when. It's just hard to get excited about this team.
Totally. I understand that, but I mean, take all that out of it and just appreciate the player.
Yep.
That he's like Thanos, man. It's insane to watch him. And you don't have to watch him that long because he normally strikes these guys out pretty quickly. So you only have to watch at most 5 minutes of A's baseball. So that's it. And the Ballers did open their season yesterday, and
with the YOLOs, I believe.
No, that's the home opener. That's the the YOLO High Wheelers. Right now, they're taking on the Glacier Range Riders over there in Montana, and then they're on their way to Colorado to take on the Rocky Mountain Vibes.
So why does everybody have like nicknames as the city, and the Ballers just have Oakland?
I don't know.
Okay,
I do not know.
It could have been the Town Ballers.
Fun fact about the Range Riders. Do you know
Town
who their
Biz Ballers?
Do you know who their manager is?
Say again.
The Glacier Range Riders. Do you know who their manager is?
Where do they play?
Montana.
Who's from Montana?
From the Bay Area. That's a hint I'll give.
Former baseball player?
No. But he's affiliated with Major League Baseball. It's Jock Peterson's dad.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that random?
Yeah, very random. I'm glad you brought that up, Stephen. I would not have even guessed that.
Are you glad I brought that up? It's a random.
It's good to know, I guess.
Yeah. Stu Peterson used to coach over at.
That's a great name. I love that name, Stu Peterson.
Used to coach at Palo Cupertino and Palo Alto High School, and So, oh, by the way, speaking of high school baseball, Jesse and I, Luis Matos just crushed one to left field. Oh, it's foul. Jesse and I went to a high school baseball game. We went to De La Salle versus Liberty in the first round of the NCS playoffs.
Liberty.
Really feeding some of these kids, man. Some of these guys look like grown ass men out there.
They're big boys, man.
Wild.
By the way, you see that one player, like they're showing the images for NCAA coming out this year, NCAA 25, which I'm excited about. They showed that one kid they made him, just to go full circle on, fat shaming. Did you see that they made that one kid a lot fatter than he is in real life?
Yep.
Terrible.
Yeah. Feel bad for that guy.
Yeah. Well, on that note, everybody, this is going to be the last time you see me in this. Oh.
He's so fun. He's so fun to watch.
What?
Sorry, keep going.
What? No, go ahead, Stephen. What just happened?
Yeah, Luis Matos just stretched what could have been a single into a double.
Nice.
Because it was an error.
All right.
Have life. Anyway.
This will be the last time I'm going to be doing the show from this location. I'm going to be moving out this weekend officially. I've had the place for a couple weeks now, but next time you see this podcast, it's going to be at a different location for me, and hopefully I can be a little more focused, a little more loud, like I was when I was living in LA. I got to admit, I did enjoy living here, but the way things are, the paper thin walls and the communal space, it's been hard to kind of focus on the podcast. So I look forward to moving to the new place, and with that going on this weekend, I don't know if we'll be doing a show this weekend. I'm going to try for Monday. If Steven, you could do it, we'll see. Having the Wi-Fi guy come over and set it up, but may not be in time. But we'll let you know when we do the next episode.
Okay. Well, we'll just go for Wednesday. It's just see Wednesday, possibly Monday, but you don't need to rush it.
Fair enough.
All right. Giants tied it up. How about that? See, it's
cool.
Just these young guys, man. Energy. By the way, I don't think I mentioned it. Yeah, Ernie's right. De La Salle, football team playing in London.
Going to London. Yep.
Pretty cool.
What? Just because there's a playing a London team?
I think the NFL Academy over there, which is basically full of European kids who are really good. I guess they were looking for someone to play, and they had the opportunity. And I think De La Salle's coach was at like some coaches summit, and he had a connection out there. And obviously, they are the powerhouse football program out here in Northern California, so they were good enough to go over there. And yeah, Nike's going to fund the whole thing, and they're going to play on the Tuesday after, what is it, Jets Vikings, I think, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, October 6th. So yeah, a couple of days after on Tuesday, little high school football out there in London. Pretty cool.
Good for them, man. Good for them. All right, everybody. We'll be back. We'll see. Maybe Monday, maybe Wednesday. We'll keep you posted. To everybody in the chat tonight, Ernie 1, Ernie 2, AJ Cruz, Alon. Who else was in the chat tonight? Tacky. And Jesse. I think that's it. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Steven, say what you always say.
It's just our opinion, man. Damn it, I didn't come up with anything.